sitting with Mr. Tony Rayner, and Tony is from the company Phoenix Contact. And I think what stimulated this opportunity for a conversation is an article published in the January edition of Electricity Control by one of his colleagues from Phoenix Contact, in fact, in Germany. But I think we got Tony into the office because, first of all, it's an opportunity for us to catch up. I think we've known each other for about 20 years or more.
Yes, I'd say so.
But the more important thing for me was to start a conversation about, in particular, the broad topic of lightning protection, which includes surge protection, and to get a sense from Tony as to how he actually got involved in that element of the profession. So Tony, take us back maybe 25, 30 years and tell me how you got into this interesting adventure.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much like you, by mistake.
Exactly.
I was actually involved in cable assemblies many years ago, and one of the guys I was supplying was making what you might know a 3-MOV job.
Yes, quite. Yes.
Plug tops, and I got involved with that, and then I thought, well, it's a nice item to sell. I didn't know much about it, and I visited a company called Pontec.
I remember them. That's right.
Yeah,
yes.
John Ponton.
John.
And,
that's right.
He and I eventually got involved, and we started off a manufacturing concern, and we started manufacturing lightning protection.
In fact, I think that's how I first met you. I met you through John Ponton and
correct.
Pontec as at that stage premier producers of specifically surge protective devices.
That's correct, yeah.
And that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, and John really was my mentor who started me off in lightning surge protection.
I remember John having an incredible passion for the topic, and I remember when I first met him and you, it was an area that I was only just becoming interested in, having come out of a high voltage background. And he enthused me. I remember him enthusing me about the importance of surge protection. But from a sales point of view, it must have been very hard back in the day to convince people of the need for surge protection particularly.
Well, the biggest thing, even today, is educating people out there. Because there's still a lot of people who do not understand it, and who understand that they actually need the products. So yeah, he did a great job, along with some of his colleagues of yesterday, yeah, very much so.
And then more recently, you've moved obviously into Phoenix Contact, which is one of the premier international manufacturers with a very broad spectrum of product. How long ago, Tony, did you join Phoenix Contact? Just remind me.
I joined Phoenix Contact 9 years ago. And my knowledge, I thought then, was not too bad on surge protection.
Yes.
But with the backing of Phoenix Contact, I mean, yeah, I've grown quite well.
It's actually very interesting. There are a couple of companies. I mean, one of them is Phoenix Contact. When you travel to international conferences or you look at the journal publications around surge protection particularly, there are always authors from Phoenix Contact, and these guys have PhDs to do what they do, you know.
Yes, they do.
So I'm sure it must have been a hell of an opportunity to grow, both as a technical expert, but also as somebody who's sort of got a very broad view of perhaps what the future of the market might look like.
Yes. Yeah, I have a very large or very broad view of the products now, because I've been educated, as you say, by a lot of PhD people, a lot of very intelligent people who are constantly researching the market and constantly bringing out new technology. So yeah, for me, I'm hopefully right up there with
Yes.
the best.
Well, I've got no doubt that you are. And I think one thing I do want to test with you is that the South African market has obviously grown and matured over the last decade or two. To what extent do you still see opportunity, and to what extent do you imagine that this can be spread into, let's say, sub-Saharan Africa? And is that one of the initiatives that you guys are looking at seriously as an organization?
Sub-Saharan Africa is a huge part of our market, and it's been given special attention by Germany, and we have a brief to now go into that market.
And growing out of South Africa, from your South Africa office?
Out of South Africa into that office. We are actually being financed by Phoenix Contact Germany.
That's actually
for
brilliant.
a big push into the market. Sub-Saharan Africa, obviously.
So that's quite that. I mean, that's a heck of a part of the planet.
It's a huge part of the planet, and there's a lot of work to do. But we have set up what we call an SSA team, and these guys are going in there and starting to get the market going.
Fantastic. And then you've obviously got many more working years than you. I can see that by looking at you. Where to for Tony Rayner? Still staying with Phoenix Contact and developing this market and this brand?
Well, yes, Phoenix is a lovely company to work for, and yeah, we move forward with Phoenix Contact.
And I suppose the other interesting thing about this company is it doesn't just do surge protection, but it has a very wide and broad spectrum of products. And I imagine that that in itself probably keeps you entertained quite substantially.
Well, yes, Phoenix Contact started up as a terminal manufacturer. I cover in the electronic industry, the IE side of things. I cover the power supplies and the surge protection devices. But there are many, many other products, obviously, within Phoenix.
Well, Tony, I know that you've written many articles for us in the past. This is written by one of your colleagues. I look forward to more articles from you and your colleagues, and thank you very, very much for your time.
Thank you
Good to
very
see
much.
you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.